So my name is AQE At I'm the Advocacy Director for the State Alliance for Quality Education. Next year we'll be 20 years old. We've been doing this advocacy work for that long. Personally, I have also been doing this work for about 20 years. Managed to graduate 8 children out of the New York City public school system. I'm realizing how tired I am. I just had a grandbaby who's 2 weeks early. I mean, she's good, but 2 weeks early. We weren't expecting her to be born this weekend. We was holding off to December 3rd, but she said, I'm here. So I've been supporting my daughter. Thank you. One of my daughters in this process, so it's like staying up. Don't take a 2-hour nap while I, rock the baby to sleep. So thank you, Council, for having me here. Really appreciate it. In a nutshell, the heartbeat of our organization is around the Campaign for Fiscal Equity. I don't know how many people know about the Campaign for Fiscal Equity. I'm not going to go into great detail, and I just realized you translated. I apologize. Let me slow down. I don't know how many people know about the Campaign for Fiscal Equity, but 1993, parents in Washington Heights, including our current Senator Robert Jackson, who was one of those parents, brought a complaint to the state saying that they were not meeting its constitutional obligation to provide every child a sound basic education. And after a 13-year battle back and forth in the courts, in 2006, the highest court of appeals upheld the decision and said, you're right, New York State is not meeting its constitutional obligation to provide every child with a sound basic education. And what started off as just a New York City thing wound up being a statewide thing. Because of the advocacy work of our organization, we were able to get then Governor Spitzer to put this historic amount of money, almost $6 billion. It was supposed to be a 4-year commitment to these dollars, and the goal was to flush the system with enough money to make change, not the dribs and drabs that we've seen over the years that have not allowed districts to catch up, right? And so for 2 years, $1 billion+ was flushed into the system statewide, and we began to see improvements. And then what happened in 2008?
Recession.
Yeah, the market crashed. And so it's been our journey and mission for the last 14 years to remind the state over and over again every year that they have not yet to meet their promise of billions of dollars to our schools, of which currently $4 billion is owed statewide, and out of that $1.5 billion is owed to New York City, right? And so that's a battle that we've been fighting. It's been hard for the last 14 years to keep a fight like that really sexy, and unfortunately we got to do that for the press, and we got to jump through hoops for everybody else, right? But to bring it down to a more concrete level, what we know is that parents understand this, community members, educators understand the need for these dollars. Because as I sit here today and hear the struggles back and forth about do we have this, how do we get that, right? It costs money to get these things. But we have a governor who says money doesn't matter. He literally said that. Meanwhile, he has sent his child to a public school, and no shade, right? It spends upwards of $30,000 per child. So yeah, it may not matter when it's somebody else's kid, but it matters when it's your child, right? And so it has been our mission to make sure we get these dollars. In your district, you have 4 senators. Who represent 2 senators? Who are 2 senators that represent your district? Anybody know? Brian Benjamin and Jose Serrano, yes. You have 2 assembly folks. Who are they? Robert Rodriguez and Inez Barron. Now, your districts cross, there's schools that cross different districts, but in a nutshell, Inez Dickens' district is owed $22 million. Robert Rodriguez, $17 million. Jose Serrano's $58 million. Brian Benjamin, $36 million. And somewhere in between there are schools that are part of your council. There are people that have their children in those schools, and they're individually they're owed an approximate amount of money from those dollars. I can only imagine what you can do with those dollars in your district. What kind of ills that would solve, what kind of things you can provide, extra stuff and basic at the same time, right? We know parents are spending money on school supplies like they've never had before, and that's if you have one child, right? You have more than one, I've been there. You have like all these kids in school, and then you get a list every year, and you want to make sure that the school has what it needs. But at the end of the day, your pockets are not growing, right? Your paychecks are not necessarily getting larger. but guess what the need is for our children. And so the state still owes us these dollars. We hold the governor and the state legislature accountable for those dollars. We come here all the time. As a matter of fact, our organizing director our campaigns director is actually in the Bronx at a CEC meeting, talk about the same thing. We are a statewide group. We are in New York City currently. New York City has the most elected officials, and they're not doing enough.
Yeah, nothing.
And even the ones that are doing enough can use a little pressure.
Yes.
Right? Because at the end of the day, it is them who make the choice and have been making the choice. Many of them for decades, and others are new. But they have making the choice. Let's be clear. It's a choice to vote no on a budget. If a budget is a moral document, what does that say about our children?
They don't care.
Are they not worthy of a budget that's going to ensure that they have all the things that they need so they're not struggling? Are they at minimum deserving of you fulfilling the commitment of the billions of dollars owed? At minimum.
Minimum.
Right? And so we come here today and saying that, one, there's some things that you can do, and we hope that the council will engage in it. Some of you in the audience will as well. Most recently, December 3rd, there's a foundation aid hearing happening at 250 Broadway. Let me be clear, it's from 10 to 2, so we already know who they expect to be there, because it's not going to be parents that are working. Right? So that's an issue from the get-go. It's been happening around the state, and we brought it up over and over again, that if you really wanted to hear what parents and community members and even young people have to say, and even educators, you would have this at a time that they can attend. So that's one thing. We're going to have a press conference at 9 o'clock at 250 Broadway. It's very accessible by any train. And if that's all you can do was come to the press conference, we want you there. We're trying to get at least 100 to 200 people there. And the goal is to make that, to kick off our campaign that's going to start in January, to say we need to bring home these dollars.
That's right.
We need to end the school to prison pipeline, and we need revenue to do it. So those are our three main goals under that. And if folks can attend, we love that we have a flyer we can send to the council. It's translated as well in Spanish, so we can make sure that you have that, and we can have a voice. The other thing, and I'll end with this in saying, one of the other things, because what we want this to be is like a strategy meeting. We don't want to just give you all the ideas. We want to get ideas from you of what are some of the things you can do in your district, we can do with you, right? As I shared, there's only three of us now in New York City. The goal of doing this is to branch out our tentacles of advocacy, because we can't be everywhere. But now that you know, the question becomes, what can you do? How can we offer information? What information materials can we give you so you can then go to your school, talk about the same thing, right? So that you can help us spread the word about the fact that schools are owed billions of dollars in their community. Because parents get that. They may not understand what that means, like in your bank account, it's not going to be there, but they understand when I say, when you talk about we don't have this and we can't provide books in our library, or we don't have technology, or all those things, they get that. They understand it. And so that's what we want to do, spread the word and spread the knowledge that these dollars are owed us, right? That these elected officials work for us, we don't work for them. They are not above reproach. Like, we have to make sure that we are challenging them. And even if we can't go, because I understand parents work, we can make phone calls. 25 phone calls, 10 phone calls to your elected official makes them say, what the heck is going on? Because at the end of the day, they care about your vote. And so if you're calling them and saying, are you going to fund CFE? Are you going to give us the $300,000? And I'll make up this number. But some schools are owed upwards of $1 million plus. Some large high schools are owed like $14 million. Imagine what they could do with those dollars. So they're literally shortchanging children's opportunities, and they're shortchanging schools' resources, and making life harder for everybody around. So I'll end that and just say that, and we will hope that you will engage in school tours that we're trying to do. We did them earlier this year, 15 schools in New York City, 10 schools around the rest of the state, where we invited state elected officials into the school with the PTA, students, educators, to have a conversation, and then they went and did a school tour. Right? Is District 4 down to participate in that with us? We'd love to participate with you on that. And Caleris and everyone has my contact information. If anybody wants to connect on any of these issues outside of today, please, I can actually give you my number now. Folks want it, it's 917-309-5742. Again, 917-309-5742. And my name is Zakia. And my email is Zakia, ZAKIYAH @AQENY.org. Thank you.
So can you give us the date of that press conference?
December 3rd.
December
It's
3rd.
December 3rd. The press conference is right before the hearing, which is going to be the same location. So, yeah.
December 3rd at
Yep.
9, you said 9?
9 a.m.
All right.
And the hearing is 10 to 2. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Woo!
Do we have any other questions, comments from the public at all before we adjourn this part of the meeting? We have a business meeting after this as well, if anybody wants to, please.
You got a question? We have a question coming up. I just want to make a comment to let Zakia know that CEC4 definitely already sent out that flyer for December 3rd. Our FLC Nancy sent it out to the district, and but we need one in Spanish. But we definitely already sent that out, and we've been making copies through the PTA, tax PTA, sending it out. So we will be there. Thank you.
Good evening. I just want to ask the CEC about upcoming plans, possibly on the calendar for Black Lives Matter at School Week, or Black History Month, or Hispanic Heritage Month, because when I was a kid at a private school, we celebrated things of that nature, and I feel as though my children are clueless on the different ethnicities and cultures that are right here in L.A.
Where's the fear?